Now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are currently finished with the Skywalker saga and are really focused on the future of the Star Wars franchise, a lot of fans are very intrigued and curious about the future of this franchise and exactly where it's going by Disney. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that when we examine The Rise of Skywalker at the very end of this movie, by far, one of the most emotional moments is, of course, the exchange of dialogue between Ben Solo and Han Solo, and, of course, the ultimate death of Ben Solo, where he actually has one kiss with Rey before he dies and vanishes into thin air, only for the fans left to wonder exactly where did Ben Solo go, because we don't see him as a Force ghost at the end of this movie, we don't hear his Force ghost voice reaching out to Rey. What is going on? Well, Disney and Lucasfilm have a lot of big plans for their new evolving Star Wars universe. In case you guys did not know, they are developing a brand new expanded universe that's going to really bring the fans into a brand new mythology of Star Wars, to new eras, and to, of course, focus on some of the familiar characters that we actually grew up with in the originals, the prequels, and, of course, for some fans out there that are now just getting used to the characters in the sequel trilogy era. Now, obviously, a lot of fans have had issues with the sequels, and that's perfectly fine. I myself am one of them. I really did not like The Last Jedi. I felt like The Rise of Skywalker had a lot of flaws, but it was also a decent Star Wars movie, at the same exact time. Now, when we look at everything here of what they're trying to do for the future of Star Wars, what's rather exciting is that with Disney and Lucasfilm now finished with the end of the Skywalker saga, they are said to be focused on the future of the Star Wars franchise to deliver the Star Wars community new stories of familiar and new characters alike. Currently, they are busy developing their new Star Wars universe, which will actually consist of TV shows, movies, books, and even comics, where this plan is actually said to be modeled after both the MCU and the old Star Wars EU, from the 90s and the early 2000s. Now, one of the big plans is that they are currently developing a project that will tell new stories of both Rey and Ben Solo, and that Lucasfilm is said to involve Jon Favreau with this project, and that Jon is said to be attached to said project that will tell new stories of beloved characters Ben Solo and Rey, of Ben Solo who vanished at the very end of The Rise of Skywalker. This new project that is a sequel to The Rise of Skywalker is said to be in animated form, with a completely different animation style than Rebels or the Clone Wars, and will hold a more realistic design with its graphics. Now, this series is actually said to bring a return to Ben Solo, and that Jon Favreau will have a role in the creative choices of how Ben Solo will be used in the upcoming series that is in early development, and that they are said to be doing some unthinkable things for the character with this new TV show for Disney Plus in the near future. Though the project is only in early development, it is actually said to redefine the concept of the Force and how fans will perceive it in Star Wars, and that Jon Favreau will have creative control over not just this show, but also the Star Wars Rebels sequel series, along with Dave Filoni to handle the franchise in a more respectful way for the fans. It's said that Lucasfilm has plans to bring back Ben Solo, and that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni will play a big role in all of this for the evolving franchise moving forward. Now, the thing that's really exciting about this, obviously, is that this could very well give us official closure as to exactly what happened to Ben. Is he a Force ghost? Is he trapped in the worlds between worlds? Is he going to come back to life, which I think is very unlikely? Could it be something completely different to the point where maybe Ben Solo is a part of Rey's spirit? It could be something crazy like that, for all we know. But nonetheless, Jon Favreau is actually said to be working and is actually said to be attached to said project that is going to be an animated form that is going to be a The Rise of Skywalker sequel series. So it's kind of like when you look at Star Wars Rebels, how it kind of continues on the story of Star Wars, and so does the Clone Wars. It fills in the gaps in between, episode 1 and, of course, episode 2. That's what I like so much about the Clone Wars, is that you get to learn more about everything related to it in that sense. Or should I say, in between episodes 2 and 3. So, with that being said, when we look at episode 9 here, this really was the beginning of the Star Wars lore that they're trying to develop with the Sith and the Jedi, and you can see how that's all going to carry on over to most likely in this new sequel series. Now, Jon Favreau, he is a man of Star Wars. He really loves Star Wars. He loves the legends and content. He loves everything related to what the hardcore fans really enjoyed back in the 1990s and the early 2000s, and he's bringing a lot of that back already in The Mandalorian and in other Star Wars projects that he's currently working on as well with Dave Filoni. But this series in particular, to bring a return to Ben Solo, I think the fact that Jon Favreau is involved really is going to be quite something and is really going to be amazing. Now, is Adam Driver going to return as the voice of Ben Solo? That's a big question. We do know that Adam Driver said he was done with the character, at least for live action, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that he can't do voiceover work per se. That's still possible for him to do that. So we do know that Kylo Ren was used in Star Wars Resistance. The fact that they're going to bring Ben Solo in an animated series is also very exciting and is going to be quite something by Disney and Lucasfilm. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.